Today we are going to study L'Oreal Paris case study. So let's start. Uh, when it comes to globalizing beauty, no one does it better than L'Oreal. So L'Oreal now is a global brand, and it is in this segment, in this category, in this industry for so long, and it has become a number one player globally. The company was founded in Paris more than 100 years ago by the young chemist Eugene Schuller, who sold his patented hair dyes to local hairdressers and saloons. So, 100 years old company and young chemist Eugene Schuller, he was the founder, and he was having patent for hair dye, and he started selling that product to local saloon or hairdressers. By 1930s, Schuller had invented beauty products like suntan oil and first mass marketed shampoo. So the suntan oil and shampoo were the uh, invention of Eugene Schuller, or the founder of L'Oreal Paris. Today, the company has evolved into the world's largest beauty and cosmetic company with the distribution in 130 countries, 27 global brands it has, and more than $30 billion in sales. So now their expansion, L'Oreal Paris company has expanded to many countries, like 130 countries, and their top they have top 27 global brands in their portfolio, and it has also charismatic number of sales units, like, or sales value, $30 billion, 30 or $31 billion, and it has become one of the largest beauty company globally. Much of the company's early international expansion is credited to Sir Lindsay Owen Jones, who transformed L'Oreal from small French business into an international cosmetic phenomena with a strategic vision and precise brand management. So this uh, Lindsay Owen Jones has very good strategic vision, and she also knows how to how to manage the brand internationally. And Sir Lindsay Owen Jones expanded, diversified this brand L'Oreal Paris into many different markets all over the world, and Lindsay Jones transformed the this French company. During his almost 20 years as a CEO and chairman, Owen Jones divested weak brands, invested heavily in product innovation, acquired ethically diverse brands, and expanded into the markets no one had dreamed of, including China, South America, and former Soviet Union. So, what all strategies uh, Owen Jones selected was divesting weak brands. So weak brand they did not want to uh, carry forward. Then invested in product innovation. They started launching many products, and they started increasing their product lines or product portfolio. They acquired ethically diverse brands like local brands. They started acquiring. Then they expanded globally into the various different markets in various different subcontinents, and they started entering into China, South America, and Russia. His quest was to achieve diversity and meet the needs of the men and women around the globe, and make the beauty products available to many people as possible. So that CEO wanted to give the products to both the gender, male as well as female, or men and women, and they want to diverse into many different global markets. Today, L'Oreal focuses on five areas of beauty expertise: skincare, hair care, makeup, hair coloring, and perfume. So, the portfolio of the L'Oreal Paris is broadly categorized into skincare, hair care, makeup, hair coloring, and perfume. Its brand falls into four different groups. First, consumer products. 52% of the sales includes mass marketed brands like Maybelline and high technology products sold at competitive prices through mass marketing retailing chain. So Maybelline is very familiar brand, and such brands they have in their portfolio, and this category they are calling it as a consumer product, and it contribute more than half of the their business like 52% of sales. L'Oreal Lux, 27% of the sales include prestigious brands like Ralph, only in premium stores and department stores and specialty stores. So first product is available everywhere on each and every stores of this grocery and medical and any many other shops. But the second category, L'Oreal Lux, is only available in premium stores, department stores, and specialty stores, and it accounts for 27% of the sales. So 75% of the business is between two categories. The first is consumer care and the second is L'Oreal Lux. Third category is professional products. 14% of the sales includes brands such as Redken, designed specifically for professional hair salon. So professionally hair salons. So third category is for only professional uh, hairdresser or salon owners or the people who are professional in this category. Fourth is active cosmetics. 7% of the sales includes dermo cosmetic products sold at pharmacies, drugstores, and medi spas. So fourth category is only for the pharmacist and as a medicine. L'Oreal believes precise target marketing, hitting the right audience with the right product and message at right place is crucial to its global success. So, uh, uh, L'Oreal believes in finding out accurate target market or target group, then speak or communicate to the right audience and offer the right product and communicate the right message, and it should happen everything at the right place. So that is the formula for the success of becoming a globally market leader in this category. Owen Jones explained each brand is positioned on a very precise market segment which overlaps as little as possible with the others. So they have they have product which is a leader in particular category. So they have built a brand which are brand leaders in their category. The company has built its portfolio primarily by purchasing local beauty companies all over the world, revamping them with the strategic direction and expanding the brand into new areas through its powerful marketing arm. So they are working on many fronts. They are acquiring the local companies and local brands. They are launching new products. They are then closing down their weak products. They are communicating advertising in a better way. Also they are building brand globally, and also you can say the celebrity endorsement or brand ambassador they are selecting for their brand building activities. So these are many strategies they are following. For example, L'Oreal instantly became a player with 20% market share in the growing ethnic hair care industry when it purchased and merged the US companies Soft Sheen products in 1998 and Carlson products in 2000. So L'Oreal Paris, they acquired two to three brands in United States in America, and they become they acquired 20% market share by acquiring these brands. So this is very fast growth they have achieved. L'Oreal believe the competition had overlooked this category because it has fragmented and misunderstood. So ethnic hair care category was misunderstood and fragmented, and many companies have overlooked this potential of this category. That's why they entered into this category. Backed by the deep portfolio of the brands and the products, Softsheen Carson is now the market leader in ethnic hair care industry, and the brand which they have purchased has become market leader in that ethnic hair care industry or category. L'Oreal also invests significant money and time in its 22 local research centers around the world. So they are also giving proper budget, enough budget to their research center, and they have 22 research center all over the world. The company spends 3.5% of annual sales on research and development, more than 1 percentage point above the industry average. Researching and innovating products that meet the local needs of each region. Despite of being a market leader, they are spending more on innovation than the industry average, and that is the success of launching many products and uh, fulfilling the satisfying the needs of the customers. Understanding the unique beauty routines and needs of the different culture, climates, tradition, and physiologies is critical to L'Oreal global success. So, L'Oreal Paris is present in many different countries, 130 countries. So, the country's culture, country's climate, country's tradition, and physiology should be understood because it has got impact on the impact on the skin. So, uh, uh, the product which you have prepared for the US market, your US environment, will not be useful in Europe or Asian market or in Africa or in Japan. But you have to understand the culture, climate, tradition, and physiology of the customers, and then you have to offer a product. Hair and skin greatly differ from one part of the world to another. L'Oreal listens to and observes consumers across the globe to gather a deep understanding of their beauty needs. So even after becoming market leader, they are understanding, listening, and getting feedback from the customers and working on that feedback. L'Oreal scientists study consumers in a laboratory bathrooms and in their own homes, sometimes achieving scientific beauty milestone. So L'Oreal scientists study consumers in laboratory bathrooms and in their own homes, sometimes achieving scientific beauty milestones. So they are down to earth and they are working with the customers. They are working in the lab to achieve uh, the goals, objective they have set. In Japan, for example, L'Oreal developed Wonder Curl Masa mascara, specially formulated to curl Asian women's eyelashes, which are usually short and straight. So they come up with the one product specifically for Japanese uh, country, Japanese people, Japanese customers, and that product become instant hit. It's called Wonder Curl Mascara, and it is as per the requirement of the customer. Within 3 months, Wonder Curl mascara had been had become Japan's number one selling mascara, and young women lined up outside the stores to buy it. L'Oreal continued to research the market and develop nail polish, blush, and other cosmetic aimed at this new Asian generation. L'Oreal believes its future lies in emerging areas such as Asia, Africa, Latin America, where it expects to find millions of the new customers over the next few years. So they are going to expand or diversify into different markets. Mark Mansion, L'Oreal's managing director, strategic marketing, explained our projection for 2020 is that 50% to 60% of the sales will be coming from emerging markets. As a result, so they want to enter into the Asian market and they want to do their maximum sale as possible. As a result, new research centers have popped up in these countries, and the company is working aggressively on the understanding these consumers' needs and developing beauty products to satisfy them. So, company is working on their the needs of the Asian customers, and they have set up so many research center in these countries, and they are working on the requirement and need of the customers. Well known for its 1973 advertising tagline, "Because I am worth it." Because I am worth it. L'Oreal is the leader in beauty products around the world. So they also have very good taglines, very good advertising, very good promotion and communication. The company spends approximately 5 billion in advertising each year, making it the third largest advertiser. So 5 billion rupees on advertisement is huge amount. As Gilles Will, its head of luxury products, explained, you have to be local and as strong as the best locals, but backed by an international image and strategy. So you have to be local and uh, uh, similarly you should be your brand image should be global market leader, and whenever you become a local, that time you will understand the needs and the requirements of the customers, and people why you want to have a very good global brand image, that because people like to purchase uh, global brands or popular brands worldwide. That is shown in the slide, that you can see in each country they have different kinds of celebrities and endorsing their products. So there are some questions like, review L'Oreal's brand portfolio. What role have local and global marketing uh, uh, what role have local and global marketing, smart acquisitions, and research and development played in growing those brands? So there is one particular slide on which we will go on that particular slide to discuss this. So here comes, yes, they are into skincare, they are into hair care, they are into makeup category, then they are into hair coloring category, and next one category is perfume. So skincare, hair care, makeup, hair coloring, and perfume. And 52% of them they are consumer products. 27% they are selling in the premium exclusive showrooms. Then 14% to professional, and 7% to pharmacist or chemist. And there's L'Oreal strategy of acquiring the brands, investing in a lot in research and development, and advertising globally, spending more money on the and the advertising. These strategies are necessary in the industry like cosmetics, because these are not the product which everybody buys, or uh, which customer usually think of buying. Customer only purchase this product when they will see the advertisement, and customer also like to have lot of options. So research and development plays key role in introducing new products and introducing best products. Global marketing is necessary, local marketing is necessary, because people want to people have different uh, kinds of needs and requirement. And second thing is, people psychology is they want to purchase a good brand who is popular worldwide. What are the keys to the successful local product launches like Maybelline's Wondercol in Japan? So the key to the success of launching good product is always understanding the needs of the customer, requirement of the customer, satisfying the customer, fulfilling the needs of the customers, and have an eye for future, have an eye for details, and understanding the culture of the that particular country, and the vision to become a market leader. So in Japan, they focus on the small, even a small needs of the customers, and they thought that how we can satisfy this need in the best possible way. So understanding the problems faced by the customer, understanding requirements of the customer, to satisfy customer and to delight the customers, companies have to think and launch new products. What is next for the L'Oreals on a global level? Who are its biggest competitors? If you were CEO, how would you sustain the company's global leadership? So there are many competitors in the market. If you go and visit the Amazon's cosmetic segment, or any e-commerce platform for the for the women, like Myntra and other e-commerce platform, you will see thousands of hundreds of brands. So like Himalaya, you have Patanjali, you have Lakme, you have then Dove, HUL and Procter and Gamble. They are also in these products. Like, and then Olay cream, you have so many competitors. L'Oreal Paris has made some of them they are local, some of them they are global, some of them they are organized, and some of them they are unorganized, from unorganized sector. So so this is all for today. Here we end the L'Oreal Paris case study. Thank you so much for watching this video.